Hey dudes and dudettes, patch 8 is finally here, so it's time to make some new content about the changes and mechanics of the fights, but this video will only be about the general updates. Before I open my mouth, I like to do one quick incomplete playthrough to see how the changes mentioned in the panel from hell are implemented mechanically in-game. Apart from the bug fixes and the new bugs that come with each patch, here's what I found to be the most important and what will probably be noticeable in your games. Давай! I will be going through these fast, since there's a lot to cover. First, every hair has been redone, we got highlights for it, and it's available for all characters, regardless of sex or race. So there's a lot more customization options to signify which phase your character is going through. There's a new playable race, gnomes, with 3 variations of them, and a new playable class, the Bard, and 2 of its subclasses. The Bard is mainly a support class, but there are some viable niche metagaming builds that can be made for solo play or a smaller party size. Cinematics have been redone, voice lines have minor alterations, and some audio has been re-recorded, so you will notice jumps in the volume mix from old audio and new audio. The recoloring and the lighting give a clearer picture of what you're looking at as the important elements in the cinematics pop out more. As a consequence, the darker areas are now brighter and you don't have to play as a deep gnome or a drow to see where you're actually going. For some reason, the hotkeys are no longer a thing. Perhaps it's because of the new UI rework for the spellcasting. But the bindings still remain in the options to be changed. So I'm guessing that this is just a temporary inconvenience. Shadowheart, Us and lae'zel can no longer loot in the tutorial area for some reason, in addition to not being able to change their abilities. This makes the Commander Zulk battle for the Flaming Sword sort of inconvenient, but still relatively easy. You can now dig chests out of the ground so that you can find stuff that you'll think about selling, but you won't want to carry them, so you'll watch my video on stealing in order to avoid hoarding items. The Tech Thought can now be cast while in dialogue instead of having to precast it, which makes it more useful. They added cinematics for criminal or suspicious activity, so now people will confront you immersively.
Your actions have consequences. In this case, a violent confrontation.
Withers, the skeleton, still has gold and scrolls of Revivify in his inventory to steal, which leads me to believe that this wasn't something that they messed up, but in fact is a deliberate feature to be exploited for infinite gold.
Fate spins along as it should.
The dirt on the characters is still there, but now it's crisper, and you can effectively make Astarion cosplay as a drow.
So, the druids are in casually killing children territory.
Rogues and bards have expertise, which doubles your proficiency bonus in the chosen skill. Elves are now a uniquely animated race, making them a bit closer to resembling femboys, but not as close as the rework that Gel has received this patch. There were a lot of redesigns of the UI, making it a little bit more convenient to search for items by having the quest items have orange names and orange item borders. The minimap quest objectives now resemble more of an MMO and have a little pointer widget that will tell you in which direction to get your next dopamine hit. I am not a fan of these sticking out or the size of the minimap as a whole, but I understand that this can be helpful to people. Some items that got removed from the minimap were the long rest and the short rest. These can now be found on the bottom right next to the new movement bar. The nested tooltips received work done, so now they're more useful and beginner friendly. As long as you're willing to read a bit more, you should be able to understand the full effects of a spell. The big feature change for this patch, apart from the gnomes and the bards, is the Swarm AI, which groups similar NPCs with similar initiative into a group and make their moves simultaneously, so that the combat can run faster. This doesn't extend to every single battle in the game, so it seems to me that these are just handpicked similar NPCs of goblins that act as one in a swarm. I'm a fan of this feature and I just wished it extended to every battle so that the AI can perform actions faster. While the Swarm AI does its job, the turn orders can still take a very long time if there are a lot of characters in combat. Even though this feature improves, it does not make combat run super smoothly. As a final note to end the ramble, the Hag's hair works if you accept to give Mayrina to the Hag. If you try the other options, the cinematic can play for you getting the hair, but the window for receiving the hair as a quest reward won't pop up. That's about all the relevant information without going into min-max territory, dudes. I hope you enjoyed this repainting of patch 7 as I am, and I hope you learned something. Have fun and have a beautiful day.